What's up? It's Deborah here, and I want to, in this short video, share with you how I went from being a submissive minister to being a courageous maverick who just so I could live on purpose, and how you can too, even if you're socially awkward like me. So, my name is Deborah, and I help mavericks and purpose driven leaders to become more certain in their own unique leadership style so that they can make the impact that they were born to make. And before we get started, I just want to let you know that if you're serious about becoming more certain and impactful in your leadership, then go ahead and click on the link in the description to join our free community where you can get access to networking with other Mavericks, as well as weekly trainings and daily inspiration. So, what I have come to find is that each month, each week, my work becomes more and more magnetic. So, today I had a conversation, it was totally random. A colleague of mine reached out to me, and she kept saying to me, I don't know why I reached out to you today. And I said, I know. And she said to me like earlier last night that she had been praying. And I said, I hear that almost every day. And it's true. I hear that almost every day where someone says, I was praying, I asked the universe for a sign, and then I saw your ad, or I saw your message, or I saw your post, or something. And so I've come to understand that when I have put myself in the place of service, that I'm directed and others are directed to me at just the right time. And so this to me is just so amazing. And I'm so excited to share with you how I got here. So, one of the major things that I dealt with growing up was I was an only child raised by foreign born parents who were extremely, like, strictly religious. And so those three things combined made me socially awkward in a lot of ways, if in addition to just my own quirky personality and styles. So I really struggled with socializing with people, both within our religious organization and outside of it. And this went through my entire life. So, one thing I really wanted to speak about today, and my origin story, so to speak, was really the religious side of it, because it made me feel really stuck sometimes in the way that I was trying to interact with people, because we had rules we had to follow. And I just never seemed to find a way to really enjoy being myself in that environment. In addition to that, I just always felt like, there was something off about me in comparison to other my peers. And then also with the religion, another thing that it made me feel was like I really doubted my inner voice. Now, I'm not saying that all religions make you do this. I'm just simply saying that the way that I interpreted my religion did. And so it made me really doubt my inner leanings. It made me doubt and suppress my intuition for a long time. So this, obviously as I got older, created a lot of problems for me, and it made me even more socially awkward, but also very ineffective and unable to make the impact that I knew I was capable of. So, oh, and if you're coming late, go ahead or you're watching the recording, go ahead and type hashtag replay. Before I forget, I just wanted to remind you, if you are really serious about making your leadership more impactful and being more certain as a leader, then go ahead and join our free community. The link is in the description above. So, back to how I was able to turn this around. There were three things that I want to share with you that were really helpful for me. And the first was the gift that I've always had is I've always been extremely inquisitive. And so I would always ask questions. So the first question I had was when I had a period of time I'd say in my late 20s, where I was really questioning what I was doing, like why I was here, what value my life was bringing. And I was really questioning all of it to the point where I asked myself, is this worth it? Like this path that I've chosen, or that was chosen for me to live as a minister, and I love serving others, but is it really worth it if I lose my own desire to be here and to do anything? So that was the first thing, is I started to just ask myself I started to weigh the pros and the cons of the choices I had made up until then. The second thing that was really important for me was that as an engineer, I loved um, like studying like cause effect, playing around with formulas, trying to find. I was always playing with numbers and patterns, and doing things in labs. And I actually looked at my life that way too. And that was another gift that I had, that I started to wonder, well, what if, you know, this rule didn't apply? What if I broke that rule? What would happen? And I started to question those things, and I started to play with things on a very small scale at first, but then increasingly so. And I would note the differences. I'd note how I felt. So I used my gauge as how I was feeling, which I wasn't supposed to do per the rules, but I did it anyway. So I would notice if I spoke with someone, how did that feel? If I spoke with a different person, how did that feel? If I did this thing, how did that feel? And I started to notice things that really made me feel good and alive, and things that really made me feel really down and depressed. And once I started to notice those differences, I started to see, I was like, you know what? Honestly, there's really not much difference between the two. So I might as well do what I really want to, instead of doing the things that I was supposed to do that were bringing me no joy. And then the third and final thing that I know helped me along this journey was to have deep faith, deep trust. I've always been a person of faith. And I know that at times, so many times, I didn't have answers. I had no clue, but I trusted that I would be guided. And because I trusted that I would be guided, I believe guidance would show me, would take me exactly where the next step was. So these three things, questioning everything, using how I felt as a meter, and having deep faith and trust that I would be guided, were what helped me to move from being a fearful, submissive minister to being a courageous maverick on a mission to make a difference by helping give other people permission to unleash the maverick inside of themselves. So, to wrap up, this is the things I just discussed today are part of a greater three-phase process, which involves inspiring, innovating, and impacting, that every single successful maverick and purpose-driven leader masters to be able to make that impact that they are here on this planet to make. If this sounds interesting to you, if this is resonating with you, then I'm inviting you to join us in our free community. The link is in the description above. And there we have more tips, more trainings, and on a weekly basis, I do whatever I can to help everyone in the group to become more certain and more impactful in their leadership. And if you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you know someone that would benefit from this information, please feel free to share it. Much love. Bye.